Hey there, guys, it's Sam here. Okay, so we've got the new year coming up, and I thought I'd do a quick presentation just to go through a few bits and pieces. We're going to have a few new members joining us, and so I think this will be easy just to give you a good kickstart on really how you can get yourself started. And there will also be some stuff in here that's useful for the guys that have been training for a while, particularly for those who maybe sort of didn't get the most out of it last year and looking to really push on this year. Just want to cover a few things. So this is our presentation on how to prepare for the new year. So what are we going to be cover? A few things we're going to be going through. Number one is your routine and planning, and then we're going to go through a little bit of nutrition. So we're going to have a bit of a basics, a bit of a starter one, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail on the second slide with that, just so you can sort of pick and choose what you want to do. And third, we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to go with sort of your cheats, treats, and refeeds, a little bit more in depth of the nutrition stuff there. This is a little bit more for the guys who've been training for a while and understand the long-term goal rather more than just the shorter term. And after we've gone through all those bits, I just want to go into what we're going to be doing sort of going forward. There's a few new bits and pieces I want to talk to you guys about, a few more things I'm going to try and bring in just to help you sort of away from the gym. So some exciting stuff there, so we'll go into that when we get to it as well. Okay, so to begin with, your routine and your planning. This is something I try and drill into most of the guys. If you've been training for a while, you'll know this, and it's something I find very important. So it's why is planning important? The main reason, I mean, a lot of you guys are very busy with work, very busy with just life in general, family. You might have kids, might have a wife. You know, life gets a little bit hectic, and fitness takes a bit of a backseat. And without proper planning in place, things get very hectic, and then you end up with this excuse of, oh, I haven't got time, when really it's just poor scheduling and poor planning. So that's why it's really important to get your planning down and your routine. So I'm just going to take you into a few little things that you can do with your planning and sort of what I want you to do with it. So really, when I talk about planning, all I want you to do here is really write down what it is you're going to be doing, whether it's your exercise, whether it's nutrition. It's why I always say to people, write down a nutrition plan, particularly to begin with, because having it written down and in place really helps you see what you're going to be eating. And then it's not just on a whim, because otherwise you just end up hungry at some point. You just go down to the shop and buy whatever's there. Whether it's written down, you can plan for it. So I would physically do it. I'd get a plan, whether it's I use mine online, so I do it through like Google Calendar. You can do it. I've done it through Excel spreadsheets in the past. You can write it by hand, whatever it is. But write down the times you'll be exercising. I mean, with me, it's going to be set, but it can still be helpful just to have it in that diary so you can physically see it yourself. And also do the same for your meals. Write down when you have time to eat. Just look at your week ahead. And just have a look on where you can fit your meals in. So if you've got meetings over lunchtime, make sure you're eating either side of that sort of thing. Now I've got here, it says when to do your planning. Now the best time I find to do any of your planning is on a weekend. Monday to Friday, but you'll be busy with work, and realistically, logistically, it's just not possible. Whereas on a Sunday, a lot of time it's a lot more relaxed. You've maybe sat down with the family watching TV. You can just do it in that time. It doesn't have to be a pure focus thing. You don't have to take yourself out. Just sit down in front of the TV and just write it down. Write down what you want to be eating over the next week. Write down when you're going to be working out. And just figure something out for yourself. Find out what works for you when you're free and go from there. Now, if you want to do this a little bit before, if you want to stay on a Saturday, which I sort of do prefer, because if you write it down on Saturday, you can then go shopping either Saturday afternoon or Sunday and get your food in, which is, something I'll cover in a later video, but it's important to make sure you've got the right foods in. Point number 3, guys, is the importance of habits. Now, we're creatures of habit. We all know this, and I can guarantee, all the guys who train with me, you see when you come into the gym, you all stand in exactly the same place as you do every single time, because we're creatures of habit. So forming these good habits and being very aware of what you're doing for the first few weeks of the year is going to make a huge difference. They say it takes 21 days, so 3 weeks to form a habit. So if you can focus on 3 weeks on forming these good habits, on writing down your planning, on making sure your nutrition is spot on, making sure you're working out hard, making sure you're cutting out the alcohol, all that sort of stuff, just do it for 3 weeks, and eventually it will become routine, and you don't have to think about it anymore. The problem is if you don't do that sort of thing, you end up thinking about it all the time. If you do it, say, for a week, and then not for a week, and then a week, and not for a week, you're never forming that habit. It's never becoming part of you. And you're going to be thinking about it for a year or years, and then rather than just those 3 weeks. So that's why I find it important to actually get into the habit of doing something. It becomes part of you. And then the last one I want to cover with you is a concept I came across actually back in the last year, and it's called the golden hour, and it's something I really like the idea of. And it's What happens with most of us is if we're getting up for work, say we have to leave the house at 8 o'clock, most of us will get up at say 7:30, rush around, get a little bit of food, get ourselves sorted, and get out the door. We'll get up as late as possible, and then we're just stressed and rushed. Well, the golden hour is effectively says whatever time you normally get up an hour earlier. If that means going to bed an hour earlier the night before, then then that's what you have to do. If that means sacrificing a bit of TV, a bit whatever, then that's what you have to do. The idea is then the start of the day is yours. You've got that time to reflect on what you're going to do for the day ahead. You can prepare, you can plan, you can schedule, you can make sure you've got all the food you need for the day ahead, and then you're not starting the day stressed and busy. Now, typically what you do in this golden hour as well is where you will work out. Now, if you're already training with me, then that's not really that important because you are already getting up that little bit earlier. And for the guys that have been training, I'm sure you can testify to how important and how much that's really helped you. Getting up that little bit earlier, getting your training done, and how much more energy and how much better you feel throughout the day. So that's really just what I wanted to talk to you about. So that's the routine and planning. I want to cover this first because it is vitally important. Before we get into the whole nutrition side of things, this is the important bit, okay? So moving on from there. So we're going to get into the basics now of our nutrition. Now, I'm hoping all of you at some point have watched my nutrition guide, and if you have, you'll know it sort of goes a little bit in depth. I'm talking about calorie counting, I'm talking about weighing food, and I'm aware that can get a little bit daunting, and it can put some people off, and then you never get started. So what I thought I'd do here was give you a sort of a shorter, sort of fewer rules as you like, just a kickstart. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with all the information you've been given, you don't know how to count protein, how to count macros, all that sort of stuff. Just follow these 3 simple rules, okay? Number 1 is simply because most of us don't drink enough water, is to just drink a glass of water with every meal you eat. So that should be 3 or 4 meals a day. First thing when you wake up, so as soon as you wake up, you should go and get yourself a glass of water. And then obviously when you're working out as well, you should have a bit of water in as well. Just doing that, it will make sure you are drinking enough water throughout the day and keeping yourself nice and hydrated. Now, I would still try and drink more than that, but this is a very good basic start. And you'll probably notice a difference in your mood and your energy levels just from doing this. Point number 2 is try and make all of your meals protein-based. Now, we've got a tendency in this country to really ignore protein, unless you're focusing on it, unless it's something you're paying attention to, and it's then very easy to overeat in the wrong. So if you look at most sandwiches, for example, crisps, chocolate, this is high protein stuff. Whereas if you just simply try and find some high protein meals, it's very difficult to actually find bad, in quotes, food. If you can find, so you're talking sort of chicken and something, breakfast, you're talking a fry up, eggs, bacon, sausages, but get something that's high in protein, low in fat, and you're going to have yourself a decent breakfast there. And it just means, it requires a little bit of thought, but if you can get 3 square meals a day, all based around some sort of protein source, I can guarantee you your meal choices will improve upon what you've been doing in the past. If you need ideas, contact me. There is stuff in the nutrition guide, which I'm hoping you've all read and looked through before. All sorts of different stuff. I'm more than happy to help you out if you do need any ideas on that. Point number 3 is to keep sugar and alcohol as low as possible. Now, I know a lot of the time this is easier said than done, but like I said on the previous one, Forming Habits, it takes 3 weeks. I think we can all cut out alcohol for 3 weeks, particularly going into the new year. I'm sure we've all been drinking plenty over Christmas. So if you can keep the alcohol content low, just quickly, talked about this a bit before, but alcohol, the reason why it is so bad is because as soon as you have alcohol in your system, your body stops metabolizing everything else, which means you effectively don't burn any calories because your body just wants to get rid of the alcohol because it sees it as a poison. So 1, you don't recover from any of your workouts. While you've got alcohol in your system, your body just doesn't recover. And 2, it means anything that you eat at the same time as drinking is automatically stored because your body doesn't see it as necessary. It just sees it as excess fuel and it's stored with it. So if, say, you have a glass of wine with your meal, it can have a massive it can really counteract what you're trying to do. So if you keep alcohol as low as possible, it really makes a fantastic difference. And I know it's tough, but it's one of those things. Sometimes it's got to be sacrificed. And similarly with sugar, sugar is known for causing it spikes up your blood sugar and spikes your insulin. It causes you to have hunger pains, and it's what causes why if you eat a chocolate bar you end up more hungry than when you first started. It's because you just get the spike of sugar, it crashes, then you feel slow, sluggish, lethargic, and a little bit down. Now, that doesn't mean cut out carbs. They're a completely different thing. Sugar is just one part of carbs. By all means, keep your carbs nice and high. In fact, I recommend it on particularly on training days. But just make sure it's low sugar food. So your rice, pasta, potato, wholemeal bread, and that sort of stuff. Just make sure the sugar stays low, and it's about becoming aware of what you're eating. That sort of brings me on to the third point, the last point, sorry, which is starting a food diary. Just write down what you eat, because all this is doing then is making you more aware of what you are putting into your body. Part of the issue we have is we mindlessly eat. I actually read a book that was called Mindless Eating, and it's just about that a lot of time we sat in front of the TV and we'll just munch and we don't realise how much we're actually eating. Whereas if you can start writing down, just the physical act of writing down what you're eating, it can be, again, this can be however you want. There's a great app called MyFitnessPal. We'll call on that a little bit later in more depth. It's just really good for recording what you eat. You can write it down in a diary yourself, record it in an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is, but make sure you record everything you eat. Because what a lot of us will do is we'll start this and we'll do it Monday to Friday, and then come Saturday, we won't do it at all. Like come the weekend, we'll go, oh, I can't be bothered with that, and that's when we'll eat the more food, and we'll relax. We'll go, oh, so this is a cheat day. It's okay. I can have the time off. And then before you know it, you've eaten sort of 3,000-4,000 calories in a day, and it's undone a lot of the hard work. So just start very simply, just write down every single thing that you eat, and you will quickly see, like we all know what we should and shouldn't be eating. You'll quickly see what's making up of. You'll see if you've got those 3 high protein meals a day, and then you can adjust it from there. You don't need me to tell you what to do. Then you can physically see what you're doing. So just very basics there to get you going. So the second point we're going to be coming to now is a little bit more, sort of dig a little bit deeper into the nutrition side of things. So this is going to be more for guys who've been training for a while now, who wants to kick on a little bit further, and I really want to do a little bit more with the nutrition side of things. So I talked about before the importance of recording what you're eating. Now we're going to talk about the importance of calorie counting. Now it's not a fun process by any means, but it is important from my standpoint. I think it's vital that we do it. This is coming a little bit back onto what I said before about being more mentally aware of what you're doing, of what you're eating, of what you're putting into your body. If you're not tracking it, if you're not counting your calories, it's very difficult to know where you're going wrong. If, say, for example, if you're training with me, and if for over a month and you're not seeing any weight loss, the first thing I'll say to you is how many calories a day you're eating. Now, most guys will say, roughly 2,000 calories, but that could be somewhere between 1,800 and 2,200 calories. If you can pinpoint that down and go, look, I'm eating 1,900 calories a day, we can then dig a little bit deeper. We can look into the sort of food you're eating. We can go, oh, okay, was this every single day? Have you been cheating here and there? But without tracking it, without knowing what it is, we haven't got a point where we can start to look at, and we haven't got a point where we can build from. So my recommendation is start calorie counting as quickly as you can. It also gets you used to how many calories are in certain foods. So if you are out at a restaurant, you can estimate what you're eating, and you're not just going, I have no idea how much is in that steak or in that burger. You can actually guess and make a little bit better informed decisions as you go forward. I recommend MyFitnessPal. If you don't know how to use it, I'll probably do a video on that at some point, just talking you through how to use it. But it's just an app you get on your phone, you can get on your laptop. And it is an absolutely fantastic app. I really highly recommend you go and get that, learn how to use it, and again, ask me any questions if you need to. Coming on from there is then why you need to start weighing out your food. Again, this is not a fun process, but if you get this into your habit, it makes a huge difference. Now, to begin with, I would start with as many things as possible, but primarily you're looking at your carb sources. So rice and pasta, we know, are the big culprits of this. If you've ever tried to make pasta or rice, just eyeballing it, you will always make enough to feed the 5,000. It's just one of those things. It expands. Whereas if you weigh it out, you can really, really accurately count your calories. You can be really focused on what you're eating, and you can start to you can even adapt it. I mean, 75 grams pasta or rice is normally what we should eat, but then you can up it to 100 grams and you can go from there. Whereas if you're just eyeballing it, you go, I don't know, and then your calorie count goes out from there. So really, again, this is about getting used to the habit of being aware of what's going into your body. It's about being focused on what you're doing. It doesn't have to be fancy. Ours is like a 5-pound set of scales. We just keep it by the microwave, and anything we eat, you just put, say, the pan on top of the scales and weigh it out from there. It's very, very simple to do. Okay, coming on from there, we're going to the 80-20 rule. Now, I'm going to come on to the next slide, talk a little bit more about cheat food and how you can incorporate sort of more of your favorite foods in. Just quickly, the 80-20 rule is effectively just 80% of the food you eat should be from, normal, good, proper, wholesome, clean foods. Don't like the term clean, but so food that grows naturally. chicken, rice, pasta, vegetables, nuts, that sort of thing. And then your 20% of your calories can really come from whatever you want. So if you want to have a few treats here and there, or if you want to save up that all up for a weekend and have a blow on a weekend, that's fine. But if you can stick to the 80-20 rule, I think it's, you know, quite lenient. 20% of your calories come from whatever the hell you want. It just keeps you sane, it keeps you going a little bit longer, and keeps you going through. And then finally, that we're going to cover here with the more advanced nutrition stuff is how to balance your macronutrients. Now, if you don't know what macronutrients are, it's simply carbs, fats, and proteins. It's just, you know, the three different things that we cover inside our food. And if you're getting a little bit deeper into it, you want to be making sure you are getting the right balance of these foods. Now, the easiest way to do this is I would eat, for the average guy, about 150 grams a day of protein, about 75 to 90 grams a day of fat, and then whatever is left of your food is carbs. For most people, that would be in the 100 to 200 gram mark of carbs, which, you know, it's 200 grams is a fair amount, but it's about getting that balance. It's about making sure you're not cutting out any of those three foods, and just going from there. Again, we'll come into a little bit more detail on this probably in a future video, but make sure you're not cutting out anything like that. And again, if you've got any questions with your macros, just let me know. Okay, so a little bit more of the fun stuff here. So we've got cheats, and refeeds. These are three tactics you can use to incorporate the food you like. So we talked about the 80-20 rule. This is sort of how you're going to do that. So cheats, you've got a combination of cheat meals and cheat days. And effectively what this is it's where you go, right, I'm going to eat whatever I want for a meal or a day. This sort of tactic depends on how strict you are with yourself and how much you can contain yourself. I used to use this and it didn't work for me. The main reason being is I would be strict for say a month, 2 months, and eat absolutely perfectly, and then I would go and have a blowout of say 10,000 calories and eat just demolish food. And as you can imagine, a 10,000 calorie day is going to massively undo any work you've done. If say you're a little bit more reserved than that, if your cheat day is going to be what, 3,000-4,000 calories, you're going to have yourself a pizza, maybe a few beers, and that's it, then it's maybe a good option for you. But you know, it depends on how. The problem you get is people see it as a free-for-all, and it's okay, it's a cheat day, I can eat whatever the hell I want, and you know, it's the calories still count, they still matter, so maybe not the best option for you. Second one is a treat option. And what that is, it just means every single day you will just have a little bit of something here and there. This is an option I actually personally go for a lot these days. Now it can be a case of you just have a bowl of ice cream after dinner. You can have a chocolate bar here and there. We quite like to have Pringles in the house, so we will tend to have a handful of Pringles sort of pre or post workout. It's just something that helps us, keeps our salt high. But you know, you can be whatever. This can be whatever you want. If you know you have a sweet tooth, this is normally a very good option for you. If you are going to do it, make sure you have your high sugar stuff around a workout. It just makes it a lot easier. It means the sugar is actually being used and it will fuel your workout rather than if you say sat on the couch at home watching TV. But you know, it's not, if you do it when you stand on the couch in front of TV, it's not the end of the world. Just remember that 80-20 rule. Make sure you're not eating a ridiculous amount. Just make sure it's only about 20% of your calories. And then the third one is a refeed day. Now, this is probably the best option you can go for, but it's also probably the most dull, and it's typically used by people who are a little bit more serious with their training and not athletes, that sort of thing. That's what this is used for. So a refeed is picking a day where you increase your calories, but it'll be all from good food in general. So say you get through to a Saturday, you're normally eating 2,000 calories, you'd have a 3,000 calorie day, but just eating more of the food you would normally. So you'd have, say, an extra 2 meals in there of chicken and rice, and it just gives you that boost. It gives you that extra calories, and you're not really getting the food that you enjoy eating, but it is the better option. So that's why I thought I'd throw that in there. It's completely up to you which one you go for. Now, in terms of which of the three is best for you, it's something you have to decide for yourself. I would try all three. I say if you find that with your cheat days and cheat meals you're just having a massive blowout, then don't opt for that one. Similarly, if you go for the refeed, but you're then finding you're craving all the sugary foods, and then you end up having an accidental blowout at the end of that, maybe not the best option for you. So find what works for you. I would say make sure that you do actually incorporate one of these, because like I said, the whole point of this is you're finding a long-term nutrition plan. It's something that works for you in the long run. Now, if you can eat plain chicken, rice, and broccoli all day, every day for years and end, then by all means do that. But for 99% of us, that's not really feasible. So just make sure you find something that is suited to you and something that you can actually go through and stick to in the long run. Like I said, for me, I actually use a mixture of all of these now. I chop and choose depending on what I'm doing. Obviously over Christmas it's a little bit more of a cheat meal and cheat day type thing, but find what works best for you and go from there. Okay, so just moving on to what we are going to be doing going forward. So I've been having a little bit of a think about this on what I can do to really help you guys when you're away from the gym, because I see the hard work that you put in there when you're down there with me, but I know some of you struggle a little bit while you're away, so I thought I'd try and do a little bit more for you. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to be opening up a members area. So inside the Schofield Fitness website, there will be an area where you'll be able to log in, and we're going to be doing more videos, more specific videos for you guys. So if you've got any questions, I can answer direct questions in there and just really help you out a little bit more. I'm also going to be doing a little bit more on the nutrition side of things in there. So I'll actually be recording videos on meals you can eat, showing you sort of how to go. I mean, I'm no chef, but I'm going to show you sort of what I do and the easiest way of cooking it and planning through. So you've got different sections there that will really help you out as you go through. From there, we're going to be doing something similar to what I've got here. So we're going to be doing some more online seminars now. As you know, we were doing sort of face-to-face stuff a few times last year. The problem with that is not everyone can make them all the time, and being able to really help people, being able to help more of you guys more of the time. I'm going to start doing these online, so you can look at them whenever, you can download them whenever, and hopefully that way we can help some more of you out. I'm also hoping to maybe do some live webinars at some point. Depends how many people we can get there. So again, I can answer live questions and really help you out if needs be when we go through there. On from there, there's some of you guys have asked me previously, because I know a lot of you started getting into the running and have asked sort of if we put any running sessions on and put together. Now, it's something I am playing with and toying with at the minute. It's putting on an extra cardio session on Sunday, and it's somewhere where I would come down and actually sort of train with you guys. It would probably be out in the stray somewhere, and we'd do some sprint training, do some running, that sort of stuff. It'd be you know, little bit more fun work. Join in with you, and it would just be solid cardio work, just as an added extra. I will keep you updated with that as and when I decide what we will be doing, but it's something that I would absolutely love to get doing, particularly as we get through towards spring and then into summer when we've got the better weather. I think that'd be something that would be really good for us all to do. And then the last thing is sort of, because I know a few of you guys have been training for a while, so I thought I'd do a little bit more advanced programming and extra training for anyone who wants it. Now I know I've got a couple of guys who do one-to-one sessions with me who, you know, sort of lost the weight and are now looking to develop a little bit of that strength, a little bit more of the muscle, go a little bit further, you know, sort of develop that physique a bit more. If you do want that, let me know. We can see if we can get you booked in for a few one-to-one sessions a week and start working on that side of things. And then the other one is sort of started up online training as well. So if you're wanting to sort of get some programming done, for you to do outside of the gym, to go down to sort of say Pure Gym or anywhere like that, but you're wanting a full-on program, I'm also offering a service with that. It'll include a face-to-face consultation once a month, where we'll go through your progress, we'll look at your nutrition, and we'll put a plan together for the following month. If either of those things sound of interest to you and want to just get in contact with me, we can go through the costings and the pricings there and find out if either of those things are suited to yourself. Okay, so I just want to say, if you have made it this far, thank you for watching. I've gone on for a little bit longer than I thought I was going to. It's 23 minutes there, but you know, it's something important to make sure you can kickstart yourself right in the new year, get yourself focused, and go from there. If you've got any questions, let me know, and if not, I look forward to seeing you all next week.